heaven's will, stepping on a rising star's head. After being pressured by his father-in-law, the Marquis of the Kim Mok family, Tham Lang decided to make some bold edits to a rather infamous erotic novel titled The Erotic Legend of Jin Ping Mei. He transformed certain risque character names into satirical ones, for example, turning Jin Sing into something like Little Long Jin Sing. He even kept the uncanny resemblance, trusting that the uncanny resemblance would strike a chord with readers. Tham Lang was confident controversy would sell. Later, Tham Lang and his brother-in-law Kim Mok Thong rode a carriage more than 100 miles to Lan City, a prestigious cultural hub. Though not officially part of their home prefecture, Jiangzhou, this city in Jiangvu district was geographically close to Huanvu City. Its fame for literature spread across over 20 other cities, making it the perfect place to publish a book and make a splash. As they rode, Kim Mok Thong was stunned to hear that his father hadn't physically punished Tham Lang or torn up the manuscript. This shocked him even more than a public outburst would have. Tham Lang was too lazy to answer such childish questions, but in truth, not only had the Marquis refrained from tearing up the book, something even more shocking had happened. Kim Mok Thong declared excitedly, "If even my old-fashioned father didn't tear it up, this book is definitely going to be a hit." In the world of literature, there's often a divide between veteran readers, Lao Bai, and fresh readers, Xia Bai. Usually, a book that appeals to one group might flop with the other. But Tham Lang's book seemed poised to win over both, practically guaranteeing a massive success. After 4 hours, they arrived in Lan City, which boasted a famous noble lineage, the Chuc clan, former nobles of Lan Mountain. However, their reputation had suffered in recent years. When the governor of Jiangvu began cracking down on feudal estates, the Chuc family preemptively surrendered their fief and military rights to curry favor with the king. In return, they received financial rewards and honorary titles. But to other noble families, this was a disgraceful betrayal. The Huanvu Marquis, Tham Lang's father-in-law, had fiercely denounced the Chuc clan for disgracing all old noble lineages. Compared to Huanvu City, Lan City wasn't as wealthy, but more bustling and culturally vibrant. Every street corner had bookstores, and the air was filled with the scent of ink. Books from over 30 cities were distributed here. Along the way, Tham Lang noticed several signs counting down to the release of the second part of a wildly popular novel called Mandarin Duck Dreams. Its popularity had shattered sales records and turned its author into a literary idol. Half a year had passed since the release of the first volume, and countless fans were breathlessly awaiting the sequel. The hype was palpable. The city had 5 storytelling halls and 2 massive publishing houses, Mak Kong Lao and New Yok Kak. The former had a traditional, scholarly air, while the latter was more flashy and fashionable. So Tham Lang and Kim Mok Thong went to New Yok Kak. As they entered, Tham Lang immediately noticed a handsome, richly dressed young man in silk robes, an obvious pretty boy. A shopkeeper rushed over to greet them and eagerly recommended the shop's latest hit, Mandarin Duck Dreams. Hearing this name again made Tham Lang mentally roll his eyes. He muttered that the title sounded like a cheap trick to lure infatuated young girls and their pocket money. At that moment, the handsome youth overheard Tham Lang's mocking tone and glared at him. In a cold voice, he asked, "Oh, does this gentleman find something amusing?" He introduced himself as Chuc Van Hoa, and Tham Lang instantly recognized the name. He was the second son of the very Chuc clan that had surrendered its nobility. Tham Lang was not impressed. This young man had lured countless girls and earned his fame off melodramatic prose. Chuc Van Hoa was beloved by many for his writing and noble background. He was an idol like most aristocrats. Instead, he studied hard and passed his exams by the age of 16. But Tham Lang saw through him instantly. Chuc Van Hoa had no claim to inheritance, so he aimed to build his own power through fame and connections. His target? The governor's daughter, Zhang Xuangha, rumored to be the most talented and beautiful woman in Huanwu. Everyone knew that her father, Governor Zhang Xuang, was destined to rise to power in the central government. If Chuc Van Hoa became his son-in-law, it would guarantee a future of influence and prestige. But to Tham Lang, Chuc Van Hoa was a schemer, a male courtesan hiding behind fake refinement to secure a powerful marriage. The worst part? He represented the very faction trying to overthrow the old nobility. Both men sensed the rivalry immediately. Chuc Van Hoa felt irrational hostility towards Tham Lang without even knowing his name. He couldn't believe someone dared to scoff at his work. With aristocratic arrogance, he demanded, "Who are you to mock my title?" Before Tham Lang could answer, Kim Mok Thong proudly declared, "I am Kim Mok Thong, heir to the Huanwu Marquess. This is my brother-in-law, Tham Lang." At those words, Chuc Van Hoa's face changed, first with shock, then with glee. This was too perfect. He had just been wondering how to earn points with Triang Swarmha, and now two enemies of her father had delivered themselves to his doorstep. With biting sarcasm, he said, "Ah, yes, the two disgraces of nobility. Kim Mok Thong, born of status yet dumber than a pig. No wonder your sister had to recruit a shameless, jobless man to marry into your family." He turned his venom towards Tham Lang. "And you are the infamous Tham Lang, the lazy parasite with no ambition or dignity. A man who survives off his wife's family like a coward." Tham Lang closed his eyes for a moment and smiled. The heavens were truly kind to him. He needed a stepping stone to promote his book, and here came a perfect one, waltzing in with his nose in the air, practically begging to be trampled. Better yet, this wasn't just any rival. It was a rising star, a hotshot of the opposing faction, the ideal candidate for a public humiliation. Crush him, and Tham Lang's book would skyrocket. Tham Lang opened his eyes and stared straight at Chuc Van Hoa, whose eyes burned with battle intent. Inside, Tham Lang sighed quietly. "Why must you rush to your doom, young man? You're talented, famous, admired by many. Why seek death so eagerly?"
A peerless masterpiece. Young Master Thumb is truly a grand master. Yes, I'm exactly that jobless, freeloading pretty boy, Tham Lang said with a smile. His shameless admission stunned even Chuc Van Hoa, who was momentarily at a loss for words. The three young noblewomen browsing books nearby, who had just been mesmerized by Tham Lang's handsome appearance, now blushed and coughed awkwardly at his blunt self-deprecation. Chuc Van Hoa sneered. "Couldn't stay put in Huanwu City, so you two came crawling to Lan Mountain City?" Before Tham Lang could respond, Kim Mok Thong proudly declared, "We're here to publish a book." "Publish," Chuc Van Hoa replied with a smirk. "When did writing become such a lowly act?" His meaning was clear. Any random cat or dog thinks they can be an author now. To the people of Lan Mountain City, Kim Mok Thong was a well-known good-for-nothing, and Tham Lang was still remembered as a vain, idle man with no education or accomplishments. Chuc Van Hoa mockingly recalled, "If I remember correctly, Tham Lang spent nearly 10 years at a village school and couldn't even complete basic literacy." Everyone nearby burst into laughter. How could these two nobodies possibly write anything worth reading? Without engaging further, Tham Lang silently handed the manuscript to the owner of Like Jade Pavilion, a well-known bookstore and publishing house. The owner, who had seen countless manuscripts, took the pages with feigned courtesy but little expectation. He already rehearsed his excuse in his head, praised the effort but declined to publish, perhaps recommend another bookstore like Fragrant Ink Tower. But after reading a few lines, the owner's expression changed drastically. What started as idle skimming turned into intense focus. He was stunned. Each paragraph revealed deep insights into human nature and societal norms. The writing wasn't flowery. In fact, it was blunt and unpolished, but it struck with clarity and sharpness. The deeper he read, the more impressed he became. Certain scenes and dialogues were so vivid that they made him audibly gasp in admiration. Still, he noted two issues: 1. The content straddled the line between vulgar and sophisticated. It demanded high literary appreciation to understand its layered meaning. Most casual readers would only see it as another salacious story. Even so, he was inclined to publish it. Even if it didn't make money, the literary quality alone was worth it. At that moment, Chuc Van Hoa snatched the manuscript and skimmed through it. Within seconds, his face twisted as if he'd tasted poison. Unbelievable, he scoffed. To think something so low, so vile, could exist in the world. Whoever wrote this should be ashamed to call themselves a scholar. He handed the manuscript to a noblewoman beside him, one of his loyal fans and the daughter of a government official. Though her literary skills were average, she had a reputation for reviewing all the top-selling romance books, earning her the nickname the Literary Maiden of Lan City. As soon as she read a page, her heart pounded, cheeks flushed red, and her legs instinctively squeezed together. It was so thrilling, so scandalous, and yet she wanted more. No, she told herself, I am a noble lady, a cultured woman. I cannot be seen enjoying such filth. What would people think? After a brief inner conflict, she threw the manuscript to the ground and stomped on it. Disgusting, vulgar to the extreme. Chuc Van Hoa was right. This is an insult to literature. Chuc Van Hoa smirked in satisfaction, just as he'd planned. He turned to the bookstore owner and said coldly, Master Mock, if you dare publish this garbage, I will no longer allow my works to be sold here. I refuse to associate my name with trash. He glanced at the noblewoman. Though some of the ladies nearby had shown signs of being swayed by Tham Lang's charm, Chuc Van Hoa's reputation and gaze quickly brought them back in line. The noblewoman added sharply, If you publish that vulgar book, we'll never set foot in this bookstore again. The other women echoed her. Though they were just a dozen or so, they were trendsetters in the city's literary circles. Their disapproval could destroy a publisher's credibility. The bookstore owner panicked. Despite the literary value he'd seen, he couldn't risk alienating his customer base. He respectfully returned the manuscript to Kim Mok Thong. Your work is truly unique, a masterpiece worthy of your noble blood. But I'm terribly sorry, our shop currently has no plans to publish new books. Perhaps you could try Fragrant Ink Tower. Kim Mok Thong was furious. We brought you a gem and you say no? Are you blind? But Tham Lang gently tugged at his shirt sleeve. Let's go. In truth, during that short encounter, Tham Lang had already crafted an entire strategy in his mind, not just to rise above Chuc Van Hoa, but to destroy his ambitions entirely. He'd even prepared 3 contingency plans, A, B, and C. As they stepped outside, Chuc Van Hoa blocked their path again, smiling arrogantly. Don't waste your time, Tham Lang. As long as I'm here, no bookstore in Lan City will publish your book. This isn't Huan Vu, it's Chuc territory. Ha! This from a man whose family surrendered their fief and military power without a fight just to save their skins? Go home, Chuc Van Hoa sneered. Just one word from me and this entire city will blacklist you. Kim Mok Thong growled. Why are you doing this to us? Tham Lang sighed internally. Why say something so childish and naive? Sure enough, Chuc Van Hoa's smile grew smug. Do I need a reason to crush someone? I'm Chuc Van Hoa. Over the next few hours, Kim Mok Thong, still unwilling to give up, visited other publishers. Fragrant Ink Tower, second-tier shops, third-tier printers, all refused. The entire city had fallen under Chuc Van Hoa's censorship. Tham Lang couldn't help but think, this isn't a big shot suppressing a newbie. This is a washed-up relic suppressing the next platinum-selling author. As night fell, Kim Mok Thong slumped in despair. Brother-in-law, are we really going to go home empty-handed? He clenched his teeth. No, this book is amazing. I won't give up. Let's go to neighboring Yang City. Tham Lang shook his head. No need. Come with me. Half an hour later, they arrived at a dingy little shop run by a shady-looking middle-aged man. After receiving the manuscript, the man flipped quickly through it, targeting the steamy scenes first. Moments later, his face lit up. Brilliant! This is amazing! He reached the illustrated pages and nearly cried tears of joy. There are even drawings! So realistic! My God! A peerless masterpiece! A peerless masterpiece! Kim Mok-thung beamed. So you'll publish it? Of course, with all my heart! You only skimmed a few parts, Kim Mok-thung asked. How can you be so sure? The man named Master Dang laughed. I've read so many erotic books I feel nothing anymore, but this, it got me excited again. That means it's a masterpiece. Apparently, he specialized in certain kinds of books, but even he admitted that Tham Lang's illustrations were leagues beyond anything he'd ever seen. These aren't just drawings, this is high art. The detail, the realism, these could rival Western sketchmasters. He added, if this book doesn't sell 3,000 copies, I'll chop off my head and let you two use it as a footstool. 3,000, Tham Lang snorted. I aim to break all sales records. And then, eyes glinting with ambition, he declared, I have only one condition. Release our book the same day as Chuc Van Hoa's Mandarin Dreams and crush him into dust.
79. Tu Tien Tian's Nightmare, a literary bomb hits the market. Because the new alliance leader listened to Old Man Hai, thank you, Nameless. The news that Tham Lang was about to publish a new book, and even more shockingly, declared he would crush the sales record of Chuc Van Hoa's wildly successful novel Mandarin Dream, exploded like a bomb in Lan City's literary circles. Overnight, from private studies to tea houses, from nobles to commoners, the topic on the lists was this bold challenge. At a prominent bookstore, the slightly sleazy middle-aged shopkeeper named Dang nearly choked on his tea upon hearing Tham Lang's proclamation. His shoulders hunched instinctively in anxiety. Sir, this is no easy feat. Tham Lang remained calm. Then tell me, how many copies did Chuc Van Hoa's Mandarin Dream sell? 4,600, Dang answered after swallowing nervously. That's the top-selling book in all of Lan City, aside from the 4 books and 5 classics. Lan City wasn't just any town. It was a major urban hub supporting 3 to 4 dozen smaller surrounding cities with millions of residents. So 4,600 copies? That was a phenomenal sales number. Dang continued. Chuc Van Hoa is a noble-born young scholar, a literary genius. His writing is exquisite. His books are coveted by daughters of noble families and refined young ladies alike. Some rich young mistresses even buy 100 copies at once just to distribute to their maids and servants. I wonder, with that kind of influence, it's no wonder that after he blacklisted me, no bookstore in the entire city dared to carry my books. Then what's the best-selling book you have ever sold? 2,700, Dang answered, but that one was mostly illustrations, 70% pictures, 30% text, and quite lowbrow too, nothing like your sophisticated work. After a brief hesitation, Dang added honestly, to be frank, your writing may be too refined. I fear the general public won't quite understand it. I estimated you might sell 3,000 copies, mostly because your erotic scenes are well written and your illustrations are truly outstanding. Tham Lang smiled slyly. And what about Mandarin Dream's lower volume, the sequel that's about to be released? 5, maybe 6,000, Dang guessed. The previous book left people addicted. They're all waiting eagerly. If I push with everything I have, your book might reach 3,000 sales, but to surpass Mandarin Dream, nearly impossible. Dang then looked solemn. To tell the truth, your book is leagues better than Chuc Van Hoa's. It's not even on the same level. But perhaps it's too good. Most people just can't comprehend it. You only read the spicy scenes, and you're telling me you know what a good book is? Dang rolled his eyes. I was once an author too. A bad one, sure, but still, I've got a sharp eye for literature. In short, no matter how good the wine, if the alley is too deep, no one will smell it. I can't beat Mandarin Dream. Tham Lang laughed, too deep an alley? It's just a matter of catching the eye, isn't it? Don't worry, I guarantee this book will flood the skies with its fragrance. He leaned in. I'll front the printing cost. If we sell fewer than 3,000 copies, I'll cover the losses. But if we sell more, then you take 20% per copy. Wow, that was a generous royalty cut. This Dang might look like a clown, but he was a sharp operator. Tham Lang wasn't in it for the money, but hey, if some came in, why not? All right, Dang said, pumped up. I'll use the best typesetting, the finest carved illustration plates by a master artist. No expense spared. I'll have your Golden Lotus Boundless Erotica released on the same day as Mandarin Dream. Tham Lang grinned. He's in bookstores? Then we'll set up street stalls right outside. Wherever he sells, we'll be across the street. So shameless, Dang muttered, then laughed. Let's do it. Tham Lang narrowed his eyes. Shopkeeper Dang, do you have the guts to play dirty? Me? I've chopped meat with cleavers. I'm not scared of anyone. That evening, Tham Lang sat down with his brush to enhance the manuscript, adding a new character named Chuc Van Hoa, a poor, noble-born, illegitimate son who became the male concubine of Lord Simon, kept hidden away to sustain his lavish lifestyle. In the plot, Lord Simon dotes on him twice, once in a room, once on the rooftop. And the new illustration? It was the rooftop scene. Worst yet, Chuc Van Hoa also has an affair with Little Simon, complete with a dedicated drawing. Ki Mok Tong and Dang looked at the sketch and immediately recognized the character. Wait, this isn't... If this book goes viral, Chuc Van Hoa's reputation would be ruined forever. Of course, in real life, he wasn't actually a male concubine, but who cared about truth these days? The world loved rumors. Say it enough times and people believe it. Tham Lang asked, "This won't be a problem, right?" Dang snorted, "Problem? What problem? Bring it on." Clearly, he had some serious backing. He wasn't the least bit afraid of Chuc Van Hoa. "I can't wait for launch day," Tham Lang smirked. Dang solemnly accepted the manuscript and bowed deeply. "I will not let you down, sir." Back home, Tham Lang transformed into a full-on artist. He started painting posters. These posters were outrageous, huge, over 1 meter long, half a meter wide. Bright colors, bold designs, Western-style portraiture, so lifelike it was almost like photography. 3 key characters, Lord Simon, Chuc Van Hoa, and Little Simon. Their poses? Scandalous. Their expressions? Captivating. Their allure? Explosive. In a world without photography, these posters were visual bombs. They could rival even DVD covers from Earth. No, they were better. Massive, colorful, seductive. They were hung outside bookstores, at street corners, in front of public libraries. Ki Mok Tong accidentally walked by and saw one. He turned beet red, stared for 3 whole minutes, then scurried away, hunchbacked, mumbling, "Brother-in-law, I'm leaving now." Next day, he peeked in again. This time it was Little Simon sitting with legs wide open. He fled with a bloody nose. Day 3, he barged in again and saw a triple poster. Lord Simon, Chuc Van Hoa, and Little Simon. Ki Mok Tong wailed, "Brother-in-law, please spare me!" Then he looked at the painting and promptly vomited from sheer sensory overload. "This is art? Grasp? Creating this is like spooning dung into your own mouth." Even Tham Lang felt nauseous. "You fat fool! Can't you speak properly?" At that moment, Ki Mok Lan entered. She silently walked away without a word. Deep inside, she sighed. Her husband had a dark side. One day, Tham Lang opened her drawer and noticed the silk underwear he had used was gone. Did she throw it away? Or wear it again? A day later, he saw it drying on the clothesline. His heart skipped a beat. She wore it again. Time flew. 13 days later, Dang had finished everything: carving plates, typesetting, printing, binding. He personally brought the first printed copy of Golden Lotus Boundless Erotica to the Marquis Swenwu's estate. The cover alone made Tham Lang's heart tremble. 3 characters: Lord Simon, Chuc Van Hoa inside the room, Little Simon peeking through the window, her revealing clothes
barely covering her back. "How's that for impact?" Dang grinned. "Amazing," Tham Lang said. Dang's eyes gleamed. "Tomorrow, Mandarin Dream's sequel launches. We'll release ours on the same day. Wherever they sell, we'll set up right across the street." "But," he added with concern, "good wine still fears deep alleys." "Oh God, not this lion again." Without a word, Tham Lang pulled down a large curtain. Boom! Over a dozen massive, colorful posters suddenly appeared, exploding in visual glory. Dang screamed, then squatted down covering his nose. "The visual impact, it's too much! Like a soul bomb!" Tham Lang chuckled. "Is that fragrant enough for you?" Dang shivered. "Sir, let's do it. We'll crush Chuc Van Hoa into powder." Time flew again. 2 days later, Golden Lotus, Boundless Erotica, written by Tham Lang and Kim Mok Tong, was released to the world side by side with Mandarin Dream's sequel. The War of the Literary Titans had officially begun.